Hey everybody, welcome to Burrtech. In this episode, I'm going to be talking about how Apple is going to rival Square. All right, so let's take a look at this article here. So this is kind of an interesting little article, there's a lot to unpack here about how Apple is going to be rivaling Square. So if you don't know what Square is, if you've ever gone to like a farmer's market or just to an independent shop really, and they have this little square thing that you can do your credit card in. It's actually really good to do. And it's very easy for merchants to do that. Now, a little bit of a story. Before I started on Udemy, what I tried to do was sell like kind of like an all-day boot camp, and it didn't work out, right? I just couldn't find enough people. And I think this was like early 2010, so it was before I got into Udemy, but it was just one of those things where people weren't really that interested. Anyway, I wanted to be able to take credit card payments at the door, and I had to shell out, I'm not even joking, like $1,500 for one of those credit card terminals, and I said, well, I'm just not going to do it. And then I basically never ended up doing that boot camp because I think I sold a couple, but it just really wasn't that. The interest wasn't high, and I kind of wanted to do other things anyway. But nevertheless, I did remember that. And then years later, I see Square. I'm like, oh, that's amazing. You can just plug it into your phone. That's awesome here. But Apple is apparently going to make that work with just kind of their own system here. And they have all the technology to do it. And I'm kind of surprised why it took this long for Apple to kind of figure this out here. Because, everything that goes to the App Store, goes through Apple. And if Apple sees, a good idea, they'll pretty much just copy and do it here. Now, just to be fair, I do like Apple quite a lot here. In fact, this is being recorded on an Apple. I do like the HD features of Apple. I do like Apple, but a couple of things that they do is they do try to stifle competition a bit. And of course, it's because they're a publicly traded company. They need to protect their shareholder profits, etc. So I can't really fault them for that. But anyway, just like with the App Store, the App Store Epic lawsuit, Apple is going to looks like it's going to kind of crush the competition of Square here. Now, is this kind of another antitrust suit kind of brewing here? It possibly, because the one thing that Apple does is they do tend to shut out third-party people. For example, I cannot use Google Maps as my primary maps, just like I can use my Brave browser or my Chrome browser on my iOS device and make that my default browser. I still can't make Google Maps my default maps. Now, again, it's not really about Apple versus Google. It's about kind of any kind of map platform. If I'm a map startup, I can't really get Siri to use my maps instead of Apple Maps. Now, I did actually download Apple Maps the other day, but they didn't have good bike routes for me, so I deleted it again. And the thing is just I think Google Maps is just the superior maps, but they won't allow you to do it. And even in the car, there is a way to use voice prompt to find the directions here, but you still can't really do that with Siri here. And I did see that you could use it on Spotify, but again, I like using Apple Podcasts and Apple Music better. I just do, right? However, I was pleasantly surprised to see that Siri was able to use Spotify instead of Apple Music, which is really the right direction things should be going in. Because what I view Apple should, they obviously, in order to get Apple's profits higher, they need to sell more subscriptions. And you see that with like Apple Fitness. And considering how bad Peloton is, I wonder if Apple will acquire them. But anyway, it looks like Apple is going to go in this direction here. They did acquire MobiWave. It's for smartphone and payments here. And there might even be a crypto wallet on your iPhone in the future, which would be absolutely huge. And what would be even better is that if you could accept business payments with crypto, that would be incredible. So let's say I run a shop. Let's say it's a clothing shop, right? So it's a clothing shop and someone wants me to pay with Dogecoin. Well, guess what? I can whip out my iPhone and just do that here. Now, of course, with cryptos, there's going to be a ton of regulatory hoops that Apple has to jump through, like a lot of regulatory activity. just because crypto is, well, it has to be highly regulated. But you could, as a business owner, you get paid in Bitcoin, you get paid in Cardano, Dogecoin, Shiba Inu. It doesn't matter what it is. It's like, I'm just going to pay for that, right? And then everything would work out very well. And personally, I think this would be a huge game changer. I know that Apple has really taken a look at cryptocurrencies in the past, and this might be something that could work out very well for them if they do it here. Now, the other thing is that if I'm a business owner, and let's say, again, let's just use the closing shop as an example here, and if I pull out my phone, right? If I pull out my phone, I wanted this to be able to go to my business accounts, and I think that's not too difficult. But when you run a business and it's just kind of you realize that, like, if you're using this computer for business and personal, it becomes a little bit messy. And if you're rich enough, it's best to have like a business location and a personal location. But that's really a kind of a topic for a different story here. Even then, to my right here, I do have a PC that I use a lot for personal, and I use the Mac mostly for business, which is kind of interesting, because usually shouldn't be the other way around. But anyway, nevertheless, it's kind of interesting that Apple is doing this. I think it would be nice to have that feature. However, it would be difficult for Square to compete. And so there might be some litigation on this in the future. And of course, they declined to comment on all of this here. So I want to know your thoughts. Is this a good idea? Have you ever tried to take payments and start a business? I want to know your thoughts down below. And if you really like this channel, please consider pledging for this project here. This project on Kickstarter is a bundle within bundles. If you wanted to learn web development, app development, machine learning, blockchain, game development, and interview prep, this Kickstarter is for you. This Kickstarter is going to be absolutely amazing. And the more you pledge, the more courses you get. And once this is completely over, the price will go up. So pledge for it today.